we'll see how it goes. So good morning. This is a 25-minute slot. It's not a huge amount of time to tell you anything in a huge amount of detail, but what I'm going to try and do my best to do is to share a few of my thoughts and opinions, hopefully open up a few holes in your brains about some of the subjects that I'll touch on, and then I'm around, and you know, the best thing to do is to have a conversation about it and to talk about CX and what we can do about it, how we can improve it, how we can make everything better for our customers and for our businesses and brands. But first of all, first question, who am I? I'm Nick Stragnell. I'm a e-commerce digital marketing practitioner. I've worked for a metric shit ton of different brands and companies, either as an employee full-time, head of e-com, head of digital marketing, head of brand kind of roles, or as a consultant, as I'm doing kind of split between 2 or 3 brands at the moment, and with agency side and client side kind of experience. But I think the more interesting question is, why am I? Not to get into a Descartes kind of philosophical conversation about, you know, I think therefore I am, but more about why am I actually here talking to you this morning? And I was invited to come and do a talk because the idea of this event is to deliver an audience to its advertisers and sponsors. So I just want you to kind of plant this thought in your brain as you're going around this exhibition over today and the next day, and you're talking to lots of people who are trying to sell you lots of cool, shiny things that you can plug into your business and your site to give you an uplift on your conversion rate or your AOV or whatever it else is that they're trying to sell to you, and think, okay, but that's the job of the talks and the panels, is to deliver that audience. It's very much like the difference between what the BBC have to do and what ITV as a station have to do. The BBC's job, you are subscribers to their service, is to deliver content to the audience. The ITV channel and any other advertising channel's job is to deliver an audience to the advertisers. So hopefully that explains why I'm here, why we're all here today, is to deliver you with some nice thoughts, warmed up, first thing in the morning, to go out very excited and talk to all of the people around the exhibition today. And be sold to. Let them do it, they're working really hard, they'll be exhausted on all of these stands by the end of it. So give them some enthusiasm. They've got your data already. You'll have already received hundreds of emails asking you to spend time and have cups of coffee with them and everything else. Good, a couple of people are nodding, so I've not missed the mark there. Okay, so that's me, that's who I am, that's why I am. This is the last slide, okay? We're going to keep it really, really light. I'm not going to bombard you with tons and tons of data or diagrams or infographics or anything else. But here are a bunch of things that hopefully are jumping off points that we can have a little chat about. And as I say, open a few holes in your brains and get you thinking about a few things as you go away. And the invitation is open. You know, none of us get paid to do this kind of stuff. The benefit I get from this is from having conversations with the people who are here, because you are all experts in what you do. So please ask me questions, please talk to me, please connect with me online and expand the conversations, because I learn things about your businesses, and then that's part of my armory and toolkit which I can take forward into the next job that I do, okay? So we've done why am I and who am I. Let's talk about customer in the middle, okay? This is the CX, future of CX theatre. Okay, I've got a plea for all of you out there. Stop calling it CX. Call it customer experience again, please, because as soon as we contract something into CX or UX or UI, we're doing our customers and our audience a disservice. Okay, the customer with the pounds and pockets in their wallet are the most important thing to all of your businesses. All of the businesses that I work for, okay? So when we do that, we start thinking in terms of numbers and data and averages, which I'll talk about in a second, okay? Every single session on your site is a human being who is having a connection with your brand or your business. So, first thing is to get into a mindset of, we have a customer, and customer experience isn't just about, if you're on the front end and you're in an e-com role, and you're driving conversion rates, or you're putting content on the site, or you're doing sort orders, or whatever else it is, you're running the technology, you're reporting on those KPIs, it's right from when they first interact with your brand, whether it be driving past a billboard, opening a magazine and seeing a print advert, or you come up as a search result, all the way through to, I purchased something from this company and it's 8 months later and it's already a little bit tatty or worn or broken and I need to have a conversation with them about it, okay? That's CX, that's customer experience. It won't change. Okay, so where should we go next? So we just touched on KPIs very briefly. This statement at the top I think is really, really important. And again, it's a bit of a mindset change that I would love everyone to embrace. Hands up if you consider yourself to be working in an e-commerce role. Super. Hands up if you consider yourself to be working in a digital marketing role. Okay, so most of the audience here in one of those two roles, and no doubt you are in a business where you will deliver a trade report, possibly every week, and have a meeting, and you deliver and you regurgitate the statistics that have been recorded through the site. And you will talk about revenue, yes, most important KPI for most of our e-com businesses, but you'll also talk about reach and engagement, you'll talk about conversion rates, of course, AOV, UPT, and a whole bunch of other acronyms that we slam together and we talk about, and your stakeholders then look at those reports or sit in the trade meetings and go, oh, conversion rate's down a couple of percent. Why do we think that is? Well, the usual answer is we pumped 20% more traffic through the site who've never been there before, so that had a negative impact on conversion rate. The one that really gets me is when we actually put it in the title and we say average. So average order value and all of the metrics that you report on and use as the data to make decisions based on, whether it's a good week, whether it's a bad week. AOV, average order value, is really interesting. And I want to use an example from All Saints, a company that I've recently started consulting with. I've been working with them for about 4 months now. And decisions that were made based on an AOV of £80. Okay? Now, £80 AOV means, right, if we want to pull the lever and do something about AOV, what are the tricks that we've got? What could we do with the customer? Should we look at our free delivery, free shipping threshold? You know, should that be £100 to try and influence that, okay? And a myriad of other things. What do we do with the loyal customers? What do we do when we give them, you know, free stuff or we give them discounts and we're thinking about that? The whole conversation is based on the premise that the average order value is £80. When you actually look at the curve of orders, and this is why I want you to stop looking at averages, let's look at what most people spent. Because those are the people we're trying to impact. We're trying to move that needle just a few percent, okay? An AOV of £80 means, actually in this case, about 5% of the customers are spending £500 or £600 on an order. Almost everyone else is spending around £50. So if we go into the conversation with the mindset that we're trying to make people go from 80 to 85, we've already lost the game, okay? So where are most people spending on your site? Anyone do maths and know what the median, the mean, and the mode and everything is? Somebody shout out which one it is. Anyway, the one where the most of those are kind of condensed. And that'll be the same across all of your channels. That'll be the same, you know, your customers are coming into your website and they're coming through different channels, be it Google Shopping or retention through email, they will all have different conversion rates. So again, looking at the average conversion rate for your entire site tells you nothing. Okay, so that was my bit about no one is average and KPIs. And customer experience is really important to relate back to that. Every single individual is different. So get away from thinking, 27,000 sessions last week, 23,500 users. Those are people who came into your store. You may have taken 526 orders. Which brings me on to this. This is my most fun stat, KPI, and piece to talk about, the 97%. So you have a conversion rate of, say, 3%, which is not bad. depending on what field you're in and how niche your brand is and how you're driving traffic to your site, but say you have a conversion rate of 3%. That means that 97% of the people, customers, the individuals, the human beings who visit your website, aren't going to buy that day. When you go back and look at your site and your user journeys, your customer experience that you've designed, the UI and everything else, think, did we give them a good experience? Or did we just go, right, product discovery, search is really good, we've sorted our sort orders out, we get the add to basket bit and our checkout's brilliant, fantastic. What did you do for the people who didn't shop today? Did you make them like your brand? Did they have a nice experience? Was it fast? Was it efficient? Could they find what they were thinking about and looking for? Did you get a little bit of their data? And did you give them the opportunity or the mindset to say, yes, actually, I'll come back to this brand? You're in part of that consideration funnel. Okay, so those of you working in digital marketing, we talk about the marketing funnel all the time, and so much of our effort goes into the bottom of the funnel conversion. Okay, people who are already aware of your brand, already warmed up, we're retargeting them, maybe they're already a customer in some way, shape or form. We spend a huge proportion of our digital marketing budgets on just conversion. And in so many brands and businesses that I've been working with over the last few years, we've discovered, oh crap, it's really good from a report point of view and we're getting a really good ROAS or ROI. What we're not doing is focusing enough on our brand and thinking, okay, we need to spend a little bit of time in the more unmeasurable space. We need to spend a little bit more time in the experience and actually doing what the big brands around here have bothered to do, and to think about how we're going to get into somebody's head and space and be part of that consideration in the first place. So that's another plea, because I do see it everywhere. Whether it's your paid social media, sorry, I'm just having to wave to someone. Back with you, back in the room. Whether it's your paid social media, again, go and look at how you're tiering your campaigns and think about putting more effort into brand awareness. Figure out a way to report it, figure out a way to tell your stakeholders that it's important, that it's valuable, because they want to be in business in a few years' time, right? It's not all about what we sell next week, or what we didn't sell last week, as most of the trade meeting conversations I have are about what does the report for last week look like, and how are we going to recoup that shortfall, okay? Really important. Okay, a little bit about running things out. Well, actually, while we're there, no, let's do this first. Just opinions. This is my big caveat. Everything that I say today is just an opinion. It's just my opinion. It's based on businesses that I've worked with and conversations with lots of other people. But my piece of advice here is just go out and get loads and loads and loads of opinions. No brilliant idea ever came, well, probably one or two did, but most brilliant ideas don't come from a group of 5 or 6 stakeholders sitting in your boardroom having a conversation about what to do, okay? Go and get the opinions. Most importantly, talk to your customers. Who does customer surveys? Quick show of hands. That's nowhere near enough people, right? That's about 5% of the people sitting here do customer surveys on a regular basis. Do them, right? Do post-purchase surveys. Absolutely do post-purchase surveys when you ask for reviews and everything else, but think about how you talk to your customers and set up your groups and talk to them on social. Don't just throw content at them and expect them to engage with your brand. Communicate, ask them what would be best. Couple of great examples. You may have seen the Avon logo up on the screen, thank you. Avon, really, really interesting business. Did a really fun contract for them. What you see now online for Avon, which is like a B2B2C model, where everything revolves around the Avon representative and then selling. You know, so big business puts everything, the power in the hands of the sales rep, and then they do the job of selling. Some of them £35 a week worth of makeup or something like that. Some of them a few £100,000 a year, right? They have this amazing group of 100,000 or so sales representatives within the UK, many more than that globally, North and South America and everything else. So if they want to test or try something, they have a group of engaged individuals that they can ask a question. It might be product testing. We've got 7 different handbag designs for next season. Show the designs to the crowd and get them to say which they think will be the best. When that was done at Avon, every single time the representatives said, yeah, we really like that maroon one. It became a bestseller, not just of that particular category, but absolutely across the board. If you have an opportunity to go to your customers and try this, and there's a guy that was speaking at an event a few months ago who did a brilliant piece. He goes out and actually used paid social to put prototype images of products. Doesn't tell the visitors, the customers, the audience why he's doing it. They think it's a product they can buy. But out of the 4 or 5 different versions, whichever one gets clicked on most, sorry, this is sold out or this isn't available yet, do you want to give some information? Whichever one gets the most clicks and the most engagement, they go into production. So it might be another 6, 12, 18 months later that a product actually gets to market, but in that way, he is asking the customers what we should be doing. So, get opinions. With that, quick caveat on doing market research, this is where the add salt bit comes. Add a massive pinch of salt. I did a little bit of work in market research quite a few years ago now. Here's the thing that's fundamentally flawed about market research. You ask 100 people to take a survey. 3 people agree to give you 20 minutes of their time and take that survey. Those 3 people are already strange and unique, and so they are not a representative of that 100 people that you asked in the first place. So again, just an opinion, market research in that way is fundamentally flawed, but as long as you know that, and as long as you ask enough people, and eventually you get a good measure, and you add enough of a big pinch of salt to the results, then you should get something worthwhile. This is a phrase I really like, data informed. For many years in the digital space, we've talked about being data-led, being digital first, being data-led businesses. Data-led is absolutely fine, but what happens when you misread the data, or the AI that has absorbed and ingested the data makes a decision based purely on that data and doesn't have the benefit of either hindsight from previous experience, human interaction, or just knowledge of the marketplace. What things are doing. Oh, we're going to launch a sale or a promotion on this particular day. The AI is going to drive things in this direction, but we actually know what's going on in the news or in the background. So data-led means you're just going to absolutely rely on the data to make the decisions for you. Data-informed is an approach that I prefer, which means absolutely we're going to pay close attention to that data and we're going to let it help us evolve our hypothesis. But then we're going to add a human being back into the equation and our experience and try and deliver something that actually makes sense and make those decisions. Your stakeholders, your bosses, your MDs, your FDs, your CEOs that you report into and you have these trade conversations with, or your marketing directors, they're there because of experience. And as I'm going to be 50 next year, my career has shadowed the evolution of e-commerce and digital marketing and everything else. When I went from school to college and university, the industry that I work in now didn't exist. So I've been really fortunate to kind of see that evolution. As you come up, if you are younger than me, then the people that you are often reporting into have not had that experience. So you've got to think about all the tools and all the tricks and all the different language methods that you can use to demonstrate to them, we think this is a good idea, we're going to try it, we're going to test it, and we're going to deliver it. There was a piece in the title, How to Avoid the Shiny Things, and I wanted to put a big picture of a wizard up here with a big staff saying, beware the shiny things. But when I typed it into the AI, it does a terrible job of hands, so they just look weird. So I didn't do that. But the point about the shiny things, which virtually everyone in this hall is going to try and sell you over the next 24, 48 hours, is that shiny things, AI, super tools that are going to make a massive impact and an uplift. Uplift is the really important word to think about here. on your sites, on your KPIs and your conversion. They're multipliers. Okay? So most of the search merchant recommendation software will tell you, okay, well, on average, it's a 32% uplift on conversion rate, or it has a 15% impact, positive impact on AOV, which is fantastic. But if you haven't built the foundations, and if you don't know without those shiny tools what your site is capable of, what your audience is going to engage with, what kind of metrics you're going to get, I'd rather have 1.5 times 3 than 1.5 times 2 and a bit. If you took those shiny tools away, what would you actually be achieving? Because they all cost money. I'm sure they pay for themselves, they wash their faces, they deliver something that's really important to you and your business. But yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind as you go around and talk to all these people. Give them the time of day, absolutely. Think about what could be best. Number one, make sure you're going to use 100% of that tool when you plug it into your site and everything that you're paying for. And number two, make sure you spend enough time talking about the foundation of your business and your site. If you didn't have those tools, what would they deliver for you? Haley's waved at me once. Okay. Please come and talk to me about anything on here. We haven't talked about Moscow and fastest, cheapest, best impact. But as I said, a 25-minute slot. It's just a regurgitation of a bunch of opinions. Any questions or specific points? Or anyone want to raise their hand and say, Nick, you didn't talk about Moscow, or you didn't talk about something else? Because I think I've got like 2 minutes to answer a couple of questions. Stunned silence. Brilliant, in that case, I'll use the 2 minutes. There was a thing on the website that said about how to prioritize your CX developments. It's the same as it always has been. Get your stakeholders and your insight people and your customer support teams, most importantly your customer support team who speak to the customers, around the table, and get them to talk with you about what initiatives you should be delivering to the site, to the platform, to your marketing campaigns, to your experience. Get the sticky notes out and do the old school must, should, could, would, or won't exercise. Put them all out there, but make sure you engage those teams. Don't sit as an insular, just e-com or just digital team and do that exercise. Get everyone who's involved with the customer and the stakeholders in the room. It's important to have the stakeholders in because you're going to go to them and ask them for money to invest in the projects that you want to run as a result. So get their buy-in in the first place. Make sure they're involved in the whole discussion about customer experience. Then when you've done that, stick them on a wall based on what do we think is going to be easiest on one scale, easiest to hardest, or cheapest to most expensive, and what's going to have the most impact to the least impact. And then do the ones in the top left-hand corner, and do them first. And do one at a time, or do 20 at a time, depending on your resource and your budgets to be able to do them. But go after the prize and deliver those. That's no-brainer stuff. Fastest, cheapest, biggest impact. Have fun in the show. Go and talk to people trying to sell you stuff. Fix the bugs on your websites, please, before you add anything else. If you don't know how to find the bugs, ask me. I will tell you the best company in the country at finding bugs. They won't fix them for you, but they will find all of them. Happy to. I probably can't advertise for them, and I'm not on a referral scheme with them or anything else, but some people that have blown me away over the years. If no questions, thank you very much. Enjoy the show.